Good morning, everybody. This is Stephen Pugh of the Home Bible College. This is my password for the second year of studies. It's March the 15th, and we're looking at Deuteronomy chapter 33 and 34. Now, in chapter 33, Moses calls the children of Israel together, and he blesses the tribes one by one. He recounts the wonderful blessing of the Lord upon the children of Israel, and he speaks blessing upon each of the tribes, and the blessing is not only a blessing from God, but it is prophetic. It is always a prophecy about how God will bless them and what God will do with them. Now, this was a patriarchal It was a patriarchal practice that at the very point of dying, the patriarch would gather the sons together and he would pronounce God's blessing upon them before he died. And this is exactly what Moses does. He speaks of Reuben. He says, "May they live long and not die, and may his tribe be many." He speaks of Judah. He says, "May the Lord hear the prayer of Judah and rescue him from his enemies." Of Levi, he says, "Let your Thummim and Urim be with your Holy One." That's the high priest. "You proved him at Massa. You strove with him at the waters of Meribah. May you teach the law to Israel. May he be blessed in his substance and accept the work of his hands, and smite through the loins of them that rise against him, and of them that hate him, that they rise not again." And Moses goes through all the tribes. He speaks of Benjamin. He says that Benjamin is the beloved of the Lord. He shall dwell in safety, and the Lord shall cover him all day long, and he shall dwell between his shoulders. He speaks of Joseph, a great long eulogy with relation to Joseph. He says, Blessed of the Lord be his land, for the precious things of the earth, for the dew and for the deep that coucheth beneath, for the precious fruit brought forth by the sun, for the precious things put forth by the moon, for the chief things of the ancient mountains, for the precious things of the lasting hills, for the precious things of the earth and the fullness thereof, for the good will of him that dwells in the bush. Let the blessing come upon the head of Joseph, who was separated from his brethren. His glory is like the firstlings of his bullock. His horns are like the horns of unicorns. With them he shall push the people together to the ends of the earth. They are 10,000s of Ephraim, and they are thousands of Manasseh. So there was no tribe called Joseph, but there were two sons that Joseph had, and they were the tribe of Ephraim and Manasseh, but here they're spoken of as under one patriarch, Joseph. Then we have Zebulun. "Rejoice, Zebulun, in thy going out, and Issachar in thy tents. They shall call the people unto the mountain. They shall offer sacrifices of righteousness, for they shall suck of the abundance of the seas and of the treasures hid in the sand." So here we have Zebulun and Issachar mentioned together. Then we have Gad. "Blessed is he that enlarges Gad. He dwelleth as a lion, and teareth the arm of the crown of the head. He provideth the first part for himself, because here is a portion of the lawgiver. Was he seated, he came with the heads of the people. He executed the justice of the Lord, his judgments with Israel. Of Dan he says, Dan is a lion's whelp, and he shall leap from Bashan. Naphtali, satisfied with favour, and full of the blessing of the Lord, possessing the west and the south." And then lastly, Asher. "Let Asher be blessed with children. Let him be acceptable to his brethren, and let he dip his foot in oil. Thy shoes shall be iron and brass, and as thy days, so shall thy strength be. You know, these statements are beautiful. They are the blessing of the old prophet of Israel, one of the greatest prophets ever known. And so, when Moses began his blessing, he said, "There is none like unto the God of Jeshurun." Now that word Jeshurun, it means the righteous people. Okay, now we need as Christians to be able to get a grip of this. He is the God of the righteous people. Okay, he rides upon heaven to help, and in his excellency on the sky. The eternal God is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. Now that actually is my password for today. The eternal God is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. And so we have this wonderful description, this wonderful blessing from the Lord. It's very interesting that Moses is taken up Mount Nebo, and he surveys the whole land. He sees all the way across the valley of Jordan to Jericho. He sees the whole of Judah. He looks right up the valley and sees the whole of Galilee. He sees the whole land. Now, Moses died at 120 years of age. He'd had 40 years in Egypt as Prince of Egypt. He'd had 40 years in the desert as leader of the children of Israel. Sorry, I got that wrong. He had 40 years as Prince of Egypt. Then he had 40 years in the wilderness as a shepherd. That's right. And lastly, he had 40 years as Israel's leader. So 40, 40 and 40 is the life of Moses. He dies at 120 years of age, older than anybody living in the world today. And it says he was as strong in mind and body as he was when he was a youth, and he had perfect vision. He had 20/20 vision. It's no wonder, you know, because he'd had 40 years in the desert, fed by manna from heaven. And that manna from heaven, it didn't put weight on, and it didn't make him put weight off. And his clothes never wore out, and his body never wore out. He was absolutely as fit at the end as he was at the beginning. All the generation that forsook the Lord perished. There were only 3 of them that survived to Mount Nebo, and that was Moses and Joshua and Caleb. And now Joshua's going to die, and Joshua died, and he is buried in a valley in Moab. His tomb was never found by men. And when we go to Jude verse 9, there is a discussion. In fact, there is an argument between Michael the archangel, and when he's contending with the devil, he is disputing about the body of Moses, and he didn't bring a railing accusation against Satan. He just said, "The Lord rebuke thee." Moses was unable to enter the promised land because he trespassed against the Lord at the waters of Meribah Kadesh in the wilderness of Zin. He did set the Lord apart in the company of the children of Israel. The children of Israel wept for Moses for 30 days. But Joshua, his successor, now comes online. Joshua is a mighty man of God now. He's a man that probably is well into his 60s or possibly 70s years of age. And the Lord has put the spirit of wisdom in his heart, like the Lord gave to Moses. And Moses prays and lays his hand upon Joshua. And it doesn't appear that there was ever a rival to Joshua's power as leader. The children of Israel listened to Joshua just as they had listened to Moses. there's a sort of a symbolism here. Moses was symbolic of the law, and the law was able to get Israel out of Egypt, but the law couldn't get them into blessing. See the symbolism there. Now the word Joshua is the same word as Jesus, and so Joshua is the one that when the law has failed to get them into the land, he's able to bring salvation and able to get them into the promised land. And when they enter into the promised land, who are they going to find there? They're going to find the Canaanites, not the Palestinians. They're going to find the Canaanites. And this passage and these passages are the proof that the land of Israel belongs to the children of Israel, and they will come into the land. They had it before the Palestinians were even a thought. They had it before then, and they will have it forever. The Lord will gather the children of Israel in a future day and bring them back into the land, and they will live in the land in the Messianic kingdom forever and forever. My password is that beautiful phrase, the eternal God is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. God bless you. Have a wonderful day, and look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow. Bye for now.